Welcome to Conscious Living here at the Specially Produce Network. We are so glad you're here to support your lifestyle with the fastest growing resource for conscious families. So sit back, relax, connect, and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conscious Living Podcast. I'm here live in the studio in San Diego at Specially Produce Network, and I'm here live with Diane Forster. Welcome.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so excited for you to be here. That's so wonderful. Our content today that we're talking about is such an amazing concept. How do you live intentionally?
Yes, it is.
How did you start this work?
Well, it's a journey like everything.
It sure is.
My story is that I was working in corporate America, and I was married. I was raising my twins. I had a life that looked like to the outside world that I had everything going on, and that dream life.
Yeah.
And what was going on underneath was I was not happy. I was unfulfilled. The relationship was not good. It was really toxic. I got into this robotic pattern of really life, and there was no passion. At the end of the day, there was happy moments, but my soul and spirit were not fulfilled. And I struggled in that marriage and that relationship for over 2 decades. I stayed, and I didn't want to be a failure. I worried what other people thought and how would my children react. And the thing is, I started filling my life with other things, like food, like alcohol, like shopping, like girlfriends, and I really put what my heart and soul were calling for on the back burner.
Yeah.
And so, day after day, week after week, year after year, it just kept piling up. And so in June of 2011, I had a breaking moment. It was a regular Saturday afternoon. We were running around with the kids, taking them to and from sporting events and errands, and we went over to some friend's house for a barbecue that night. Yeah. And when we got back in the car, the fighting started. Yeah. And when I got home, I snapped. I went up in the bathroom, I locked the door, and I took out 2 full bottles of prescription pain pills that I had in there.
I see.
From surgery I had the year before to remove part of my colon. Like, the stress of my life was literally eating me inside out. It was killing me. And so I had those pills in my hand, and a force greater than me knocked them out of my hands, and the voice screamed, "You are not ending your life this way. You need to go get help so that you can tell your story and you can help others."
Wow.
And I just threw my hands up in the air and said, "Well, you need to show me the way, because I don't know how, I don't know what to do." And
that was a great connection with your inner guidance.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Well, so the thing is, the voice has been speaking to me all along.
Yeah.
I just wasn't tuning into it.
But you heard it very clear
I did.
that day.
Yes, I did. I did. Oh, yeah. Well,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was incredible. And so that set me on this quest and this path of self-discovery, self-awakening.
That's so beautiful.
Personal development. And what happened was all of these gifts, these intuitive gifts that I had that lay dormant for so long, started getting lit up. And I was getting so many downloads, and I was writing and creating, and I opened up and expanded and healed in a really profound way.
Really
and
beautiful.
What I discovered was the thing that was missing in my life was self-love.
Yeah.
I did not love myself. I didn't think I was worthy of the life that I wanted, the things that I wanted. And so I just kept pretending that I didn't need them anymore.
But that came so natural, huh? And to the forefront of your understanding.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was an evolution. It took several things to happen for that awakening to really, really come to fruition.
Yeah.
But I kept following processes, which I'm going to share with what led me to intentional living. And what it was in August of 2013,
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning with a poem in my head, and I'd written many other
Oh,
poems and
that's
stories.
so beautiful. What is the poem?
The poem is called I Have Today.
I have today.
And it was, I have today to love and be loved. I have today to be gentle and kind. I have today to start fresh and new. I have today to see things with new eyes. I have today to nurture my spirit, mind, and body. I have today to be more beautiful than yesterday. You know, it just kind of went like that.
Wow.
And I wrote it down as quickly as I could. And it's not anything complex. It's so simple yet so profound. And the light bulb went off and it went, and I said, oh my God, all I have is today.
Right.
And what if today is the last day of my life? How do I want to feel? How do I want to live today?
Right. Knowing today is a gift.
It's such a gift, and it's all we have. And in that moment, I could see I Have Today Network Productions. I could see this massive brand and company, like amazing. And I thought, this is really about the art of intentional living.
Yes.
And really living each moment by choice,
yes,
decision, in empowerment, in discernment. And so I started putting together these processes. So I'd studied all of these people, these great philosophers and teachers, dead and alive and everything in between. And what started happening for me was I said, I've gathered all this knowledge. I'm like this big giant sponge. Well, now I want to take everything and take the bits and pieces of it that work for me and create these quick triggers so that at any time I need to, I can draw on this and remember this, create that awareness and get me back centered to the now. Right. Intentional right now, today, and be present.
Back in that conscious choice state.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what I did. So I wrote my book, I Have Today, Find Your Passion, Purpose, and Smile, finally. And it's filled with all of these useful tips and my teachings and my philosophies on living that intentional life. The I Have Today way is what I call it. So
beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so it really came down to a 3-step process. And I do a lot of 3-step processes for 3 reasons. They're easy to remember.
Yes.
They're easy to implement,
yes,
and then they're easy to build upon.
Yes.
And so when you start creating those awarenesses,
implement, remember, and build upon.
Yes. And the 3-step process is love it, thank it, bring it.
Love it, thank it, bring it.
Yes. Yes, so simple, yet so profound.
Yes.
Loving your life, no matter what's happened to you, no matter where you are, what a gift it is. We have breath in our lungs. 151,000 people didn't wake up today, and we did. Like, wow, that's such a gift.
Right.
And so much more. And then the thank it piece of it is just to be grateful for everything you've ever experienced because it was there for you, to teach you, and to give you strength, experience, wisdom, knowledge, and just be grateful for every little thing, like the fact that we can just reach out and have water. You know how many people have to walk miles to get water every day? And we sleep in a bed. You know how many people never sleep in a bed? You know, there's so many things to be grateful for, all the little gifts.
Absolutely.
And then the bring it piece is really the power piece. You know, knowing those 2 things, loving it and thanking it. Then how do you show up in your life, truly?
Right.
In your health, in your relationships.
How do you show up? Not necessarily how life shows up for you.
Exactly.
But how you show up.
Yes.
And inside that co-creation, life then begins to unfold.
Yes, it does. It does. And so we always have the power. It is not outside of us. It's while we live in this great, big, beautiful world, the only world that matters is the one that we're living in, the one in our head, the one in our minds, and then how we really show up, how we choose.
How we shine in the world.
Yes. How we choose to interact, how we choose to respond, how we choose to make decisions, how we choose to embrace and embody the things that are important to us, the values that are important to us, without any expectation of how somebody else might respond.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Well, and coming up with really conscious choice and how do we choose, can be challenging for many people.
Yes.
What do you find when you support people and work with people and present and in your books and your events and your one-on-one consultations with clients and even in groups? How do you support people in creating that conscious choice in their life?
I take it back to limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
We're so anchored, our subconscious mind is 90% of what's going on, and that is the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions. The conscious mind is only 10%, which is our thinking mind.
Yeah, I think when we move into conscious choice, though, we expand that awareness, right? And we develop
do.
far beyond 10%.
Yes, well,
which is
true.
amazing.
But what most people are experiencing is what I call the dandelions that are living in their subconscious mind.
Right.
They're the weeds that are the imprints that were anchored in there, most of them by the time we're 8 years old. And
Yeah.
it's just like this big giant sponge. So we grow up believing these limiting things, like I'm not smart enough or good enough or rich enough or worthy enough or capable enough, or I'm too old, or I'm too this, or those are all limiting beliefs.
Right. We have those experiences that proved our belief is true.
Right.
And it's our responsibility to know that we can live, first of all, fresh and new in every moment.
Yes.
Letting go of those past beliefs, those past experiences that they look like they define us, but they really don't.
They don't. They don't. So that's where I go first with every client, and I find, what are those? Yeah. What is it that you believe about yourself? What is your past story? What is it? What are your fears and your doubts and your insecurities? And then at the same time, what are your goals and your dreams and desires? And even if you don't know them yet, I help extract that out of them.
Yeah.
And then I create for all of my clients what I call a personalized mantra meditation for them that is specific to them, to help start clearing away some of those dandelions. And
That's beautiful. It's like your poem.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. And so, and I know you know this, the subconscious mind is literal. It doesn't understand past, present, future. It doesn't understand fact from fiction. It only takes in data. So what we do is we need to tell the subconscious mind a different story.
And some new data.
And new data.
And what if the new data can be new in every moment?
It is.
Because what if collectively we start to all shift around each other and we have all new data stories, not the same old stories that we've been carrying like in our families, like when we go for reunions or holidays.
Right.
And we keep saying the same story over and over again.
Right.
Year after year.
Right.
And what if we could present new data inside each and every moment, each and every way that we relate with one another?
Yes. That's what the process is. And it's so foreign to my clients, so foreign to a lot of the audience, because I say to them, well, who are you going to be without this story?
Right.
What is your life going to feel like and look like? I know you're tired of this and you want the change, but have you really had that anchor in you, and have you understood that this is going to be an orientation, and it's going to be a whole new experience, a whole new you? Now, while that's really exciting, you've got to get to that place where you can see that for yourself, not just want it, but actually see it for yourself.
See it and then feel it, breathe it, live it, experience it, navigate through it.
Right.
Those forms of integration, and then integration inside you, and then integration inside the relationship with the other person or the conversation.
Yes. So intentional living is really about being decisive, being the commander of your life. So, for example, one of my clients is in the process of changing her career, and she doesn't want to do the 9-to-5 anymore, and she wants to write a book, and she wants more time freedom, and she wants to change some things around in her life. And so she's out there interviewing for jobs, and she's really at the mercy of the person who's sitting in front of her, because that's the way she's been, raised to believe the process is. And I said, no. We're going to create it for you.
Absolutely.
We're going to design it first and allow the universe and the law of attraction to attract that right those right situations and circumstances to you. That's the way. That's really intentional. And
Right.
that's your power
Right.
that we all have, which
We
is so
all have
cool.
it. We all have it no matter what age we are.
I know. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I say I don't care if you're 1 or 101. It's you always have time to create the kind of life that you want to live. It's
Yeah.
never too late.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so inside setting intentions, how do you support people in formulating that intention? What are some of the ideas of how to create those, as you would call, data points? How do you create that?
I do it in a few different ways. There's 6 principles that I live by. Besides the 3-step process, what worked for me was 6 things. I implemented a meditation practice. It is
I think it's beautiful.
the most important thing that I tell everybody, please start a meditation practice.
It really is powerful because when we start to quiet the mind, we start to hear what the mind has to say.
Yes.
And sometimes the mind has to say some funny things.
Yes.
And so when we get to notice what those funny things are so that we have the opportunity to reframe them.
Yes.
If we don't know what we're saying to ourselves, then it's very challenging to navigate what it is we have to frame up inside that intentional environment.
Right. Yes. You can't, you've heard this before, you cannot pray and worry at the same time.
That one's a great one.
You must ask the questions, and I'm a big believer, and this is part of my processes too. I've got a program. You must be asking questions, but you must be asking the right questions. Vague and the universe doesn't understand ambiguity. It likes specificity. So why can't I fall in love, or why can't I get out of debt are the wrong questions, because the universe, this is my belief, only knows the word yes and only knows the emotion love. So you're getting what you're thinking about and speaking about no matter what it is, even if it's what you don't want.
Right.
So asking more empowering questions, and the process of meditation allows you to get to a state of mind where you can actually receive the information. And
like you did in
like
that moment
I did.
in the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a really powerful way that way. And now the inner guidance is with me all the time. I mean, I don't do it alone. I don't have to do it alone. I've got the universe has my back. And so I have the guidance all the time. I have my inner guidance, my higher self, and the collective consciousness that's here to support me, to everyone, supporting everyone.
Correct.
But knowing that and living that is so powerful.
It is so powerful.
Yes.
Everyone can do it.
Yes.
Everyone can do it. And so meditation really doesn't mean praying or worrying.
Mm-mm.
Praying and I don't know that worrying has a lot of help at all, really, because we go into anxiety and fear. And that's something that the universe really, truly is not. It's something we've fabricated.
Yes.
And when we fabricate that environment, we start moving into realms of falseness, and we kind of really keep circling in those realms and never kind of come out of that fear. And so we actually end up problem solving inside fear.
Right.
And creating more fear.
Right.
So when we take a moment, breathe, meditate, go inner to our inner experience, we quiet the mind enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
To be able to access that love within us.
Exactly. And, you said the word worry. And one of the powerful tools that I discovered is, the power of our language. Our thoughts create our feelings, create our communication, creates our manifestation. So
yes.
I do these processes where I actually removed words from my vocabulary. I had an experience one day with the word worry. Yeah, can't. Well, replace your worry with wonder. If you think about how many things you worry about, how many of those things ever came true? Like, for me, that is the first word I would remove from the English language. It's just a wasted emotion. We don't need to be worrying.
Right.
So instead of worrying about that your kids are going to be okay or something bad is going to happen, replace that with, I wonder that they have everything they need, or I wonder if they're going to have a great day, and I wonder if everything's going to be okay, and I wonder what miracles are going to show up today. It's
That's a beautiful perspective to take.
A very intentional way of thinking. It's very, very deliberate.
Yes.
So I do a lot of work around that. And then after meditation, journaling is another practice that allowed all of those creative juices to really just flow through me, like the poems and the stories and the creativity. And we're all creators. We came here to create. And
Yes.
so putting a pen in your hand on a piece of paper and allowing the downloads to come and just flow. And even if you're not a journaler, if you...
And that download is your inner guidance.
Yes.
Sharing with you.
Speaking to you.
And inner guidance can be expanded into the whole entire universe. So it's the bird, it's trees, it's the butterflies, it's the table, it's the pen, it's the paper, it's your eyes, it's your body, it's your emotions, it's all of those things have an opportunity to come forward and speak with you.
Yes.
And have that inner conversation that then puts it out there into action.
Yes. Yes. It's really powerful, and it allows you to get clarity around what's working in your life, what's not, what you want more of.
Right.
You know, and really start being an intentional, deliberate manifester and creator and being.
Right.
And I will barely say something and something will show up in my life. I remember I was looking out on my patio and I have this beautiful hibiscus plant tree. And I said, oh, God, it'd be so great to see a bird today, you know, come by that. And about 2 hours later, I was passing the room, and I'm not kidding, it had to be 100 birds. Just flocks of birds kept coming to the tree, and you know, in glory.
What a beautiful manifestation.
I mean, I was like, wow. So if I could do that, if we could do that,
right.
What else can we do?
Exactly.
But it's getting clear about what you want and being intentional about what you want.
Right. And being inside the realm of love versus fear.
Yes. Yes. And another way is through moving your body. I'm a big believer in getting out in nature, taking walks, you know, walking on the beach. I live by the beach. I manifested that. That was important for me. And really observing the abundance that's everywhere, the miracles that are everywhere, every grain of sand and every cloud in the sky. And
that gift of life.
It is. And what a gift we are and what a miracle we are. And so that really is living intentionally, not taking anything for granted. You know, don't walk around with your head down and miss all the signs that there is just abundance everywhere.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so in that sense of intentional, and if someone is wanting to intentionally create things, where do you support them in developing that intention? So many times I experience people wanting to create an intention from something that they're missing or something that isn't good.
Yes.
Or that they want better. How do you support people in reframing that intentionality to moving away from those fear or worry states or anxiety states or those lack states?
Yes.
To more of those abundant states? How do you support people in moving to that?
Oh gosh, Ashley, I have so many products and services that I offer, but
I know just a couple out of that tool belt.
In my book,
awesome
the first, at the end of the first chapter, I ask you to write out your life, your dream life, not the life that you have, if it's not the life you want. Write out the life that you want. Spend time with it. Sit with a cup of tea or a glass of wine or something to really get into that state and go deep with the details of it so that you're feeling it and you're actually living in that space so that you can start to really create it, because so many people do exactly that. They focus on what they don't want and they stay in that state of lack. So if you want to create something different, you've got to get into that state. That's one way.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, an easy exercise. One of the other things I created is a 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program.
10 days with what?
10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose.
10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose. I love it.
Yeah. It's at
it's that you're committing 10 days.
Yeah, only 10 days.
To being focused in that way of creating that level of intentionality. Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes. And it's 10 days. It's 10 asking the right questions, 10 words, the mantras and the affirmation statements, the video and the exercise to get you really clear about what is true for you.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Right, and inside that, when you're thinking from that aspect of what's true for you, a lot of times, so if you're a parent or you're a spouse, right, you have a wife or a husband, or you're a husband and you have a wife, that what you're thinking then about is everyone involved and how can everyone also be served, be supported, be resourced, be loved inside of these intentions.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't just have to be about you and what you need. It can be in service to everyone
Right.
in your environment.
Right.
Right? Your best friend, your boss, your whoever, your colleague, who you're working with, your
Yes.
partner.
Because when you show up as the most fulfilled, authentic version of yourself with self-love, no judgment, loving yourself unconditionally for your perfect imperfection, and you give others permission to do the same thing. You view the world in a beautiful way, and that energy has this ripple effect. It's
Sure
fantastic.
does. It sure does. And it ripples out and then reverberates off of them back to you.
Yes.
And that ripple of giving just keeps giving and giving and giving and receiving and receiving. And it happens all at the same time so that it isn't like, oh, I always give and I never receive.
Right.
Or I always receive and I never have time to give because everybody's receiving. So it more really evens out
It does.
this dance between each other and really starts dramatically improving our relationships.
It does. It does. It's, my belief, it all anchors in self-love. And when you really love yourself, this could solve, this could create world peace. If everyone just loved themselves unconditionally and had no expectations of anybody else behaving
and
differently
feels
than they
full
are.
and satiated and thankful and grateful and humble, then we all start to give together.
Yes, yes.
And we unify much easier than with agendas.
Right.
And opportunities to take advantage of one another and different things that we see in society that we can really change and alter by starting with ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. It's
and
an inside job.
And living intentionally.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
It's true.
It's such a beautiful day. Oh my gosh. And thinking in all of these ways and creating these commitments in oneself.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the other three pieces are, and not to be skated over, but they're really about setting those intentions. And when you start setting intentions, whether it's, I'm going to go into this networking event tonight and there's going to be 200 people there, and I set the intention to, manifest and attract the two right relationships to, move my business forward or to collaborate with or whatever it is, that's a very specific intention. You could intentions start with brushing your teeth,
Right.
I set the intention to have, clean, healthy teeth and gums.
Right. Waking up grateful.
Yes. And then, gratitude is
getting dressed.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
It's
all
so
of
true.
it can be down to the itty bittiest minutia, all the way up to a very large idea of how do I set myself inside the environment called humanity, and how do I present myself every day.
Right.
Right. It
Right.
can be as little or as large as you like.
Yes.
And yet being very specific supports you seeing that manifestation coming forward in your life.
Yes. How do I present myself to the world? And what is it that I want the world to see in me? What does that mirror back look like for me? And how am I treating people? How do I want to be treated?
Right.
And really being intentional with everything. And everybody has moments, we snap, we're human, right?
Right.
But being able to catch that early and own it, don't beat yourself up over it, be kind to yourself, forgiving to yourself, ask for forgiveness of others, and
noticing those reframings
Yes.
that you taught. That's so beautiful here, and moving from worry to wonder.
Yes.
I think that's beautiful. What do you do for anxiety?
Anticipation.
Anticipation. I love it. Could you share what is that? What does that look
Well,
like?
think about how anxiety feels. That is laced with worry and fear and doubt, and that
Yes.
does not feel good. But if you flip that around and you thought, oh my God, I'm so excited because I know that whatever is happening right now, this is, I'm a big fan of the universal laws, and I love the law of polarity. So whatever is happening that could be negative on this side, whatever that level of negativity, how severe it is really your opinion of it.
Right.
On the other side of the spectrum is that much more grand and glorious, right?
Right.
So when you think about that, you have those feelings of anxiety, create the awareness, like, where is this coming from, and how can I turn this around to be anticipate the gift that's coming from this? Because
Right.
there is a gift
Because
coming from
life
this.
is a gift.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
so taking that anxiety, that worry, that doubt, that fret, that concern, and moving it to anticipation. Wow, what is the gift coming?
Right.
What is
right.
coming forward?
Mm-hmm.
What am I creating? What am I contributing to? What are others? How can I facilitate that?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a gift, right, is quietness.
Yes.
So sometimes we could take a moment and really deepen that anticipation and bring that in through breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
And calm
Yes.
that anticipation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that it comes smoothly, effortlessly, simply.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
What a great way. So all of those feelings that are negative or sending us and spinning in circles, we can literally turn that around to a word that's the opposite of that to really support remembering how life is a gift.
Yes.
And what gift then inside of that word usage, that languaging, I can reframe inside of my mind,
Yes.
inside of my thoughts, inside of my emotions
Mm-hmm.
to create that manifestation coming forward.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many others. Doubt with determination.
Doubt with determination.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't doubt.
Wow.
Be determined.
Yes.
I'm determined.
Yes.
Yeah. How
That's
much
beautiful.
better does that feel?
That's
It's so easy,
beautiful.
right?
That's beautiful. That's just exciting. And I know that you really focus on working with a lot of children and families.
I do.
You help the parents.
I do.
Really understand where they're coming from so that they're in a space to really more deeply understand where their children are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You work with young adults.
I do.
And older teenagers to really bring them into the world with determination, with anticipation,
With
wonder.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And with empowerment and confidence, which you mentioned earlier. You know, I was just working with a client last week, and she's got a teenage son, who's in high school, and there's struggle with it, where his grades aren't what they want them to be, and he's not turning in his homework, and his attitude is, it doesn't really matter, and he's very artistic, and he loves drawing, he loves, creating, and so, what I said to her is, don't go into this saying, why can't you just turn this in? And why does this have to be so hard? Because you are creating more of that. And then you're creating this wall with him where he's not even hearing it.
Right.
I said, empower him with, what would it take for you to be able to remember to turn in your assignments? Because you actually are doing them. So what would it take? And his answer might be, well, I don't know. And then give him the next question is, well, if you did know, what would that be? Because he actually does know.
Right.
And now you've turned all the power to him.
Right.
He's going to feel more confident in it. You're not, berating him, for lack of a better word.
Right.
He doesn't feel beaten down by it. He doesn't feel like there's something wrong with him.
Right. And those simple questions are helping him open to the resistances that he might be experiencing.
Yes.
Of why that's not okay. Maybe school is a little too left brain for him.
Yes.
And and too logical and too linear, and he'd like to add some artistic creativity. So maybe having a discussion with his teacher about how he could artistically add to the homework assignment or something like that, that would help balance out many of the things he's resisting.
Right.
Or have art afterwards, or do many, many other potentials or opportunities that he may not have considered because he was so stuck in that resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
And two things about that. It also teaches the parents how to really release the control over how your children are supposed to live and be. Yeah. And
it allows more of their expression in life.
Yeah.
And in his case, it would be art.
Yes. And then he can be more intentional with his time and use of time. And while I need to do this right now, and this is that part of my life, I can be really intentional about how much time make it a game. If you like playing games, make it a game to get that assignment done.
Absolutely.
Make it more fun.
Fun.
And that's part of being intentional.
That's where really a lot of learning it really gets expanded and really deepens, is when we have fun with our learning.
Yes.
Kind of like the word salad that you were doing by changing its polarity.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome? That's so awesome. I could have that in spelling class, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are opposites? Anxiety and anticipation. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You could already start training children to have different vocabulary from different perspectives.
Yeah.
And get spelling done all at the same time.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Isn't that so cool? Yeah, it is. It is part of a program that I teach. There's so many, and I'm definitely writing a book about it, because how fun is that?
Right.
Yeah.
We want to bring that into our scholastic environments.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And thank you so much for coming today, really, and being present and really supporting everyone that's listening, either live or pre-recorded, that's listening about how to live life intentionally, because there are so many ways we can support this process and develop the level of manifestation we want to see for ourselves, each other, and all of us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. There's no lack.
There's no lack.
Limitless abundance. So
it sure is.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this opportunity of really experiencing limitless abundance. So lovely. And how can we find you? What website is the best website to reach you at?
You can find me at DianeForster.com. It's DianeForster.
That's so beautiful. Please look her up. Please review all of the amazing things she's created, books, events, opportunities. There's so many for us to explore and work with.
Yes.
Thank you all of you for joining us today. We so enjoyed your company.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. We are so grateful for you tuning in and experiencing the innovations and opportunities we all can incorporate into our daily lives. Connect with us at centerforconsciouskids.com to sign up for the latest news that showcases these revolutionary services and products. Our global website provides families with an online conduit for enrichment and transformation in all our lives. Please share with other kids and families who would enjoy these advancements in living consciously. I'm Ashley Lee, and I thank you so much for joining us.